Welcome to Network Africa on Channels Television. We're delighted you could join us. Coming up on the program, it's a day of presidential visits as the presidents of Togo and Benin Republic are in Lagos and Abuja, respectively. Then President Al-Sisi of Egypt announces new austerity measures as the North African country awaits a $12 billion loan from the IMF. And later, there's an upscale of police violence in Uganda. We have the latest from Kampala. Welcome to Network Africa on Channels Television with me, Cynthia Are. Now, if you choose to tag today a day of presidential visits, you won't be wrong. The President of the Republic of Benin, Mr. Patrice Talon, is currently in the nation's capital, Abuja, where he is meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari of Nigeria. The talks between both leaders are said to center on security and power supply to Benin Republic. Mr. Talon, an opposition candidate, took over from former President Boni Yayi after winning the presidential election in the country.
This government is making all the effort it can to stabilize the situation because the resources are there. The world knows that Nigeria has plenty of gas. What we need to do is to stabilize the environment so that this gas can be regularly, pumped to the sub-region through the infrastructure already in place. Also, the Nigerian LNG is not doing too badly. The gas can be put into liquid form. The technology now is available, transferred to Benin Republic to fire their power stations, made it into gas again and power the station in Benin Republic. The third and long-standing problem is the question of using Benin as a transit camp to bring a lot of goods into Nigeria. Under ECO's agreement, all we have to do is to remind ourselves about our respective national commitments that other than really ECO's originated commodities, we should not allow it. If we get strict on that, I think Nigerian industries will benefit from ECO's agreement.
President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari. Now, here in Lagos, Togo's president has arrived to visit the $14 billion Dangote refinery at the Lekki Trade-Free Zone. He touched down this morning at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, where he was welcomed by Mr. Aliko Dangote and other top government and state officials. While staying in Nigeria, some economic analysts are fearful that the Nigerian economy is on the verge of collapse if nothing is done to salvage the situation. Reports say the Minister of Finance is looking to source about $11 billion from the external financial markets to help plug the hole created by budget deficits already incurred this year. As regards foreign exchange, that's another kettle of fish altogether, as the Central Bank of Nigeria's new foreign exchange policy does not seem to be going down well with anyone. Loads of companies are recording huge losses and individuals are having the hardest time getting forex. Joining us to provide clarity on the situation and explain what's going on with Nigeria's economy is Channels Television's business news editor, Bosun Omofaye. Bosun, thank you very much for joining us on Network Africa. Now, when the Naira, when they started the process of floating the Naira, that's the Central Bank of Nigeria, and also announced the new foreign exchange policy, it sounded like the good times were going to start, were basically here. And now the Naira is trading on the interbank for about 320 Naira to $1. Yes. It seems things are getting a lot worse. What's going on?
No, things are not really getting worse. And the point was that the central bank made it clear when the new FX market was introduced. The policy was released on June the 15th. The market started formally on June the 20th. The central bank made it clear, and it's right there out there. The central bank said, look, this is a market that we need to fix. Remember in 2015, we were hit by JP Morgan and Barclays in removing Nigeria's bond from the emerging markets global index. Again, the reasons were simple. Our foreign currency market was opaque, it was not transparent, it was not in line with international best practices. The central bank was fixing the dollar, pegging it, using billions of dollars in reserves to defend it. So the consensus within and outside the country was that we should let the Naira have a free flow. So for the first time, we had a transparent market in line with best practices. So once we have that, if you look at the pent-up demand for foreign exchange that has been run to about $4 billion for banks, those doing customers, those do online trading, airlines, what have you, you have such a backlog. So you don't expect to float a market on the same day at about 190 Naira to $1, and you expect things to claw back to 100 or 50 Naira to the dollar. You expect things to go down a little bit because that pressure would definitely be there. So what you find right now is that the market is now playing out in the way that it should be. In other words, there's a demand and there is supply here. Of course, like every central bank would do anywhere in the world, the central bank will occasionally intervene by selling dollars to banks or to other authorized dealers to make sure that things don't get overheated. Exactly the way you run an automobile. So, things are not really getting wacky as some expected. Some expectations were by right now would have done 500 to $1. Some were looking at 1,000 Naira to $1. But surprising that within 5 weeks, we're still within. When that market opened, the spot were about 280, thereabouts, on the day it opened.
Well, it looks like we're on the way because it was 290 at the time.
Yes.
And the speculation that by the time this week runs out, we'll be looking at 400 Naira to $1. So you might say that it's not really, really wacky, but
yes,
it's wacky nonetheless.
No, you know, the point is that you have a serious supply shortage before we flooded the market. Mm-hmm. And that's the issue here. And that supply hasn't been met. The central bank does not have the big cash dollar foreign exchange it used to sit on when you have oil at $140, $120, $110 per barrel. Our production has also gone significantly lower. Look at our earnings. We lost $150 billion in the month of May alone in terms of crude oil revenues. Our production is seriously down because of the Avengers, the oil thieves, and other problems, including the supply. So these are serious problems here. So you don't have the money. So when there is less demand, there's less supply in any market, prices usually go up, whether it is rice, tomato, motor cars, any
but what about
item in the world. That's what
policy
happens.
Which the CBN is not responsible for.
Yes.
They say we hear that that's a problem, that it's not a sound fiscal policy. So what's going on as regards that?
You need to fix
that everybody does their homework.
No, you need to fix the fiscal problem. Look at what the president, he just started a program looking at Benin, the president of Benin and Togo coming here. We have issues with Ghana because we're not supplying gas, so Ghana has issues with its energy problem. So the big brother in West Africa and across the continent, so Southern Africa as a whole, is having fiscal problems. And you see how that is inflicting some in the underbellies of other neighboring countries. And that tells you that we need to fix the country quickly from the fiscal side. We need to engineer growth. Monetary policy anywhere in the world are no longer enough to fix economic growth that is slagging and sluggish. Today, Japan is just putting another $45 billion, that's about 1.4 trillion yen, into the economy, what you call helicopter money. In other words, fly it above, spread the money across the economy, and make sure there is growth. US is trying to stay off on interest rates because they need to grow things. The same way the Japanese are working on how to get stagflation out and get economy up and running. Meeting in Indonesia in the last couple of days, they're looking at these issues as well. Central bankers need to find new tools to make sure there is growth, because the current wave of global economic depression or recession or problems is not what we've not seen before. It's different from 2008,
so it's going to
2009.
Get better. That you maintain that stance.
No, definitely, these are difficult times, and we've got to fix it on both sides, like you put it.
Thank you very much, Head of Business News Desk. Yes, Boss Namafai, thank you very much for joining us on Network Africa. Now, after the break, we're still talking economies, but in this case, the Egyptian economy, as President Al-Sisi introduces new austerity measures.